And one of the things I like about 23AI is there's been a number of things I've seen where the documentation says this feature has been invented for this particular reason. Yet when I've looked at the feature, my first thought has been, I know exactly a problem that solves, which is not the one that's documented. Another one is this thing called reservable columns, and which is the ability, it looks like, it gives the appearance that two transactions can lock the same row at the same time, uncommitted. And you think, doesn't this break database locking? Like the whole objective of database locking is to not allow this. But a reservable transaction is your ability to say, look, I have an interest in this row, but I'm aware that other people also have an interest in this row, and I don't want to block them. From the application code's point of view, it thinks it has locked a row. So it is unchanged. It simply says, I want to grab this row. It might be, for example, an inventory counter of how many iPhones I have in stock. So I want to, someone's bought an iPhone, I want to drop that by one. So I do an update and say, lower it by one. The problem is if someone else has bought an iPhone, they also want to lower that stock by one. And in times gone by, that's a big contention point. You've now got this concurrency issue in your application, which you have to now solve. And it's hard to do because you have to now manage, how do I make sure we don't get the lost update problem where both of them take the iPhone count from, say, 10 down to 9, whereas it really should have been 10 to 9 and 9 to 8 if two people were buying an iPhone. So what this does is it gives the impression that you've locked the row, but it does what we had to do manually as developers. It actually took your intent and put it in a sort of a queue and says, when you come back and commit, then I'll actually go do the update.